Okay, screw it. I'm just gonna give it a shot. I think I have test recorded. Something is wrong with my audio. God knows what it is. I hope that this final try is the one that works out right. I'm even controlling the volume of my voice because I don't know how this is going to turn out. I'm paying attention to the mic auxiliary, but okay. Anyway, the whole reason I tried for maybe 2 hours, okay, let's go with an hour and a half at the very least, of trying to get just two topics. This was supposed to be something that was like 20 minutes. Maybe I should have just done it live. Maybe I wouldn't have had the audio issues. But this is not the, oh my god, audio issues are driving me crazy hour. It's not even going to be an hour. It's just two things that I found intriguing. I hope that the passion that attracted me to these very topics are alive and well and have not dwindled in a pool of my own madness. So where to start? Where to start? We're gonna lead in with, well, these are both pretty heavy, to be honest. All right, we're going to go ahead and start with the one that is equally disturbing. And once you start thinking about the potential of how far it can go, I think your imagination will take care of and just put this in the sector of your brain that says, okay, that's something to look out for. Sorry, now I'm permanently hearing audio issues. The second one is definitely, it's a topic we're all sick and tired of, but for a fact, I wanted it to be heard. Thank you to the moderator that provided me with the information. It has to do with something I'm not quite clear if the terms of service of our Overlord platform has deemed it appropriate, because I can only find the most information about this in outside sources. So I do apologize for any of the issues you may hear, and let's hope we can get through this smooth. So first, I want to show, this is old news amongst the people that are pretty familiar and in the know on the internet on a daily. If you have an office job and you surf the web, you have heard about this. I learned about this maybe 2 days ago, something like that. I think it's still pretty fresh. But you know, the internet and the speed of information, it makes everything pretty much moot. So this was some streamer, almost 200,000 subscribers on Twitch. He got caught with, well, let him explain, and then I'll interject here and there. Fingers crossed that this is going well. The audio seems to go at its worst when I play other audio. So let's let it ride for a second. Please work. Google gods, let this work.
Stream to like create a pattern of behavior where I really want, especially women.
You may want to know why he's apologizing. Okay, so his name is Atrocic, right? He was live streaming. Who knows how many people were watching? I would assume a lot. And, well, he got well over 200,000 viewers, subscribers. From that to now, he is stepping down because millions upon millions have seen what he got busted for. And what that was is he was watching, his explanation is a little confounding, but he got busted for having an open tab, and all it took was that one split second, and that one split second introduced his viewers to the fact that he was watching deep fake pornography of colleagues and people he's worked with and collaborated with, other platformers, female platformers, female gamers. Yeah, apparently, I don't know how this works, or they're just well-established platformers, and you can find them on just porn sites in general. And unbeknownst to his friends or coworkers that he was jerking the gherkin to, they were pretty upset about it. So here he got caught, and he immediately addressed it. His wife, as you can see, is a bit emotional and enters the fray, and he's trying to explain everything. So with the context now, messages later. Okay. Ugh, for crying. Yep, this is exactly how I want things to go. Okay, now starting again.
Stream to like create a pattern of behavior where I really want, especially women on Twitch, to feel safer. Like We call fucking booba spam cringe. We don't.
I don't know what booba spam is, and he calls it cringe. Good for you. So off the bat, he is trying to validate and justify being caught just watching pornography, which is something normal. I mean, people do that. Married people, not married people, any gender. I'm pretty sure it's a big industry, right? The thing that's disturbing though is deep fake technology is so good you couldn't tell it's not real. So the two or one of the women who was in the images, the very convincing images, so I am told. I'm not being facetious. I have not searched this. I don't know who these streamers are. One is Polka. Oh, that doesn't help. Polka Princess or something, and the other one is Cutie something. Don't know. But he is trying to explain away that, well, yeah, why am I'm just getting into it. The alarming thing is that it just looks so real, and just imagine, we already seen how good deepfake technology is. The further down we go, the more it's utilized. There's already 2 or 3 states that have actually taken legal action over deepfakes being used and taking it very, very seriously. So it's going to open up a larger dialogue about, how advanced technology and the internet can be and will go. Nothing stops, humankind from doing things that they're not supposed to. I mean, this country was kind of founded upon that entire sentiment right there. But before we get the revolution of porn, yeah, I do think this is pretty screwed up. Does he over apologize though? You be the judge.
Don't do that there. I've never made like a fucking weird, I don't know, see sniff enjoy. I've never done it.
See sniff enjoy. I'm learning so much from this guy. So they have see sniff enjoy streams? Do tell.
Anything like that. I've never done anything like that on this stream.
The more he says he hasn't, the more I'm less convinced.
And we don't tolerate any sex behavior in the chat. We ban it on site. And like I've done this consistently over and over and over. And then fucking at 2 a.m., I've been watching so much fucking.
He almost slips up right here. It was like almost 2 a.m. and I was watching so much porn, and my hand was vibrating. It was raw. It felt like it got run through the meat grinder. I mean, I was just doing research.
Reading so much fucking AI stuff. I'm reading all this fucking stuff about AI and fucking deepfake music, deepfake art,
deepfake music,
and these fucking discords,
deepfake artists.
It just feels so embarrassing.
Just
but
man up.
Fucking Pornhub, dude. I was on a fucking regular ass normal website.
Regular ass website, and yes, you had to go through a paywall to get to the content this man got busted watching on his live stream. So he had to go through all of these steps to get there. And he's saying, I just ended up there. Like, whoops, I accidentally entered my credit card. Whoopsies.
And there was an ad. There's an ad on every fucking video for this fucking... So I know other people must be clicking it because it's on every fucking video.
Projecting much. Okay? I haven't seen it. Don't blame me.
The fucking deepfake thing, and then I stream to like...
Okay, now it's gonna loop. It does not have the part where the wife chimes in and she's like, I can vouch that he, just going through the paywall is a normal thing for him. So I believe him, and I believe him when he says he's not going to do this again. Well, more power to you. He's agreed to step away from his company and streaming for about a year, and all the best, I believe in second chances, but I think the real story is, and I'm sure it's been overtold, just look this what's his name again? Atrocity. I don't know, his life's an atrocity right now. Whatever, atrotic. He is, what this story has brought to the forefront is just how advanced these deep fakes are and how dangerous they can be. I don't think I am the one that has to paint the pictures. I think a lot of us have already seen. Remember South Park did the whole deep fake with Trump and a bunch of other leaders of the world. Imagine what a deep fake that somehow goes unchecked and gets to the wrong person in the right place due to the enemy that sends the information or the video. Just you can make an infinite amount of scenarios. Like somebody needs a visual authorization from this person. Hey, here's a video, or you tell somebody it's live, and maybe that's all it would take. I'm just being hypothetical, not hyperbolic, to go ahead and move forward with this mission, or to sabotage this something or the other. Just use your imagination, okay? Think about it. If you saw, let's say somebody sent you a video of a family member of yours and they're crying, and deepfakes can match just about everything. Just or just they look absolutely convincing, and let's say it's your brother or something, tied up, looking beat up. I don't know if the voices are completely mastered, but they can take clips and snippets, and it's like some ransom thing. All I'm saying is, think of the worst possibility, and knowing what the people online do already, I think that it's not a far stretch of the imagination to think about, to speculate how crazy and dangerous this deep fake stuff can go. And then, mix it with a little AI. Now, this is the one that I'm worried Google will strike me down. I'm going to open up this video and just kind of keep my fingers crossed, okay? The only reason why this one stays so close to the chest for me, there's unknown elements regarding a common tale I tell about an aunt I had in New Jersey. She was one of the elderly folk that was pretty much shoved into a hospital by Cuomo, and we all know what happened from there, right? Ventilators, you heard that a lot. Remdesivir. Let me make it clear, YouTube, Google, Masters, I am sharing this for educational purposes. I understand this is not your platform that I found the original content, so I'm hoping that we all have that mutual, who am I really talking to? Manual reviewer, because somebody will report this, or this will just hit the algorithm wrong. Please just understand I am sharing information, nothing more, nothing less, and I'm hoping to inform the public.
And then was only just the beginning.
Hold on. Okay, so, and then I did some research about a pandemic amnesty thing. That was a rabbit hole. I do not have a full understanding, so I'm not going to talk on it. God, I hope this audio goes well. But remdesivir was something that was released very, very, very early, and it was given the green light. I have an article that'll fill in some of the blanks, so let me let this ride. Remember, I have to interrupt it from time to time.
Eventually, the whole truth will come out, and they need to get their amnesty now before it's too late for them. Before Nuremberg 2. Before military tribunals, before citizen...
This man is explaining and expressing his own opinion before Nuremberg number 2. I mean, that's pretty intense stuff. But I do have my own questions that are relevant, to the powers that be, to, dare I say his name, the name that rhymes with Ouchie, and everybody, the lockdowns and all the damage it did to our economy and just everything in general, and things that are still impacted. Do those people get to attest or answer to anything? Is there consequences for some of the calls that were done wrong, or, are they given the ultimate olive branch and never revisited? I don't think the stimulus check made me feel all that better, and I'm sure many of you, like myself, continued to work on. But anyway, okay, remdesivir is what this is about. People that were taking it because I believe it was the WHO and the NIH kind of sped this up and just said, yeah, let the doctors put it in the people. Didn't go well for some of the people.
Grand juries. Because, again, soon it's all coming out. The truth about the bioweapon shots. The truth about where COVID came from.
Oh, shit. He said, bioweapon shots, okay. Opinions are being expressed.
Truth about the deadly hospital protocols. We're going to learn the...
Okay, I'm not disagreeing with protocols that ended up being deadly in hospitals.
The whole truth about remdesivir, too. Because, no, we haven't forgot what that drug did. And how they forced sick people to take that instead of taking ivermectin or hydroxychloroquine.
Very early stages. Very, very early stages. Early 2020.
Giving them nothing at all. Which still would have been much better than that poisonous remdesivir. Esteban Lizarraga understands well the damage that this drug can do.
Please forgive me that I am new to the remdesivir news. I'm pretty ignorant to it. So this is how it works. I learned something. I want to share it.
Esteban's wife contracted COVID in early November of 2021 when she was 25 weeks pregnant. Now, even though she was almost certainly fine, out of an excess of caution for her baby, she decided to go to the hospital to seek help.
Pregnant.
She thought that she could trust the healthcare providers. She was wrong. Shortly after she was admitted, Esteban was told that he wasn't allowed to see her, of course, and that visitation would be extremely limited.
Normally, I would be very critical of how hyper and intense he sounds, and it seems like it wants to induce panic, but these are serious issues. I think a lot of the issues we're facing are, well, there's something that should be alarming to many of us. So, can't hate on it. Normally, I'd add a little commentary.
Esteban was told that the only treatment options that his wife would be allowed to receive were either poisonous remdesivir or monoclonal antibodies. Nurses suggested that remdesivir was the best, of course, even though then it was known to everybody that the drug could do massive damage to a person's organs. But not giving remdesivir to people could cause massive damage to the hospital's bottom line. Again, Esteban and his wife at that time thought that they could trust the medical staff to tell the truth. Well, almost immediately after receiving remdesivir, Esteban's wife was moved to the ICU and it got worse from there. Eventually, she ended up on life support and their baby was delivered via C-section, all while Esteban wasn't allowed to visit them. This situation went on for 2 months. Esteban worried that both his wife and baby were going to die, but then a miracle occurred.
Okay, well, what are the pros and cons of remdesivir? I quote, "Oh, it's perfectly safe. We've been giving it to everybody, all pregnant women. It's fine. It's safe." Well, what is the other option? Monoclonal antibodies. So, okay, what are the pros and cons of that? I don't know. We started the remdesivir protocol, the COVID protocol, not knowing. She felt like she was doing better, and then she
I don't know the end of the story, so bated breath with you.
At that point, she was already going on her 5th day of remdesivir, and she coded. They were able to sedate her because she was fighting them. And at that point, that's when the surgeon came in and said, "Hey, the baby's heart rate is at 50 beats a minute." Ended up doing a C-section a couple hours later. And my son was born at 25 weeks, 5 days, just under 2 pounds. She was then put on life support for about 2 months. She was in the hospital for 4 months. His due date was February 19th, we were born November 12th. I was going back and forth from one hospital to the other. On top of that, taking care of our oldest daughter. And I did what most people thought was the safe bet. Trust your doctors. They had to completely stop the remdesivir protocol when she had coded, and they had to get her down there to do an emergency C-section. As she continued with the 10-day regimen, it's already on day 5. I do believe that neither my son nor her would be here today.
Medical experts have come forward on this program and said that the reason why they do this 10-day protocol is because it takes about 9 days for patients to die. We know now that this is murder for money.
Whoa, man. Okay, so they're dropping some heavy stuff here, and I find myself quite nervous that I'm going to hit the upload button, but man, I don't like feeling nervous about information. We should not... It's nothing short of being insulted by the mainstream overlords to control what gets to us, and we should have the right to do our own research, which is what I intend to do after learning this story. Did she make it? I heard him say he and his son, but what about her? She coded 10 days. Okay, let me get to the final, I suppose, and then I have something to back this up.
Preferred outcome here would be that in 13 days it'll be 15-month-old son and your wife would have died that day, because that would have generated hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Shit, I don't even think I could put this on YouTube. Well, let it roll.
That facility. Hundreds of thousands of other people were not blessed like you are, Esteban. And, we really appreciate you coming forward and talking about this. We can never forget what these people have done to us. Amnesty is not on the table for the people who methodically...
Okay, so I'm very nervous. We're going to pause it there. Here is, please Google, YouTube, guys. Take it easy on the little guy, okay? Let me do some of the actual... This is an official... do I say mainstream? It's an accredited, what do we got here? What do we got? FDA? That's good, right? Okay. So, remdesivir, if you're not familiar, right? What does it say at the top? The FDA held no advisory meeting on antiviral, and the the EU signed contract without knowing of failed trials. So this is where I got fascinated. This is where I was like, I gotta go on. I have to speak about this. All right, sorry, I'm getting lost in thought just thinking that they pushed this in their panic. Science C19 reporting is supported by the... Okay, moving on. October was a good month for Gilead Sciences, the giant manufacturer of antivirals, headquartered in Foster City, California. On the 8th of October, the company inked an agreement to supply the European Union with its drug remdesivir as a treatment for C19, a deal potentially worth more than $1 billion. 2 weeks later, on the 22nd of October, the U.S. Food and Drug Administration approved remdesivir for use against the pandemic coronavirus in the U.S., the first drug to receive that status. So before we had anything that we have now, 12 boosters, Pfizer, and all the others, Johnson, all of those. Before that, remdesivir was being given to people. I need to do a little inventory as to why I was not aware of this. I mean, I was a part of a show that was keeping up with all this stuff. So that's bad on me. The EU and US decisions paved the way for Gilead's drug into two major markets, both with soaring C19 cases. But both decisions baffled scientists who have closely watched the clinical trials of remdesivir unfold over the past 6 months. And this is an old article, and who have many questions about remdesivir's worth. At best, one large, well-designed study found remdesivir modestly reduced the time to recover from COVID in hospitalized patients with severe illness. A few smaller studies found no impact of treatment on the disease whatsoever. Then, on the 15th of October, in this month's decidedly unfavorable news for Gilead, the fourth and largest controlled study delivered what some believed was a coup de grace. I think I said that right. The World Health Organization, which I don't think will ever maintain the level of renown that it had once, whose solidarity trial showed that remdesivir does not reduce mortality or the time COVID patients take to recover. This is old news, okay? Science has learned that both FDA's decision and the EU deal came about under unusual circumstances that gave the company important advantages. Lobbyists, much. This is my whole issue with money getting involved in our processes. What good is getting think tanks and the most intelligent minds together if all they're going to do is worship the mighty dollar and not care about the impact it has on we the people? FDA never consulted a group of outside experts, so there was no oversight that it has at the ready to weigh in on complicated antiviral drug issues. That group, the Antimicrobial Drugs Advisory Committee, mixes infectious diseases clinicians with biostatisticians, pharmacists, and a consumer representative to review all the data on experimental treatments and make recommendations to the FDA. Recommendations. That's just like it's done in Europe when it comes to medication. Their TVs don't advertise to you what you should be taking. The doctors do that for you. Yet it has not convened once during the pandemic. The European Union, meanwhile, decided to settle on the remdesivir pricing exactly 1 week before the disappointing Solidarity trial results came out. It was unaware of those results, although Gilead, having donated remdesivir to the trial, was informed of the data on the 23rd September and knew the trial was a bust. Here's the quote. This is a very, very bad look for the FDA, and the dealings between Gilead and the EU make it another layer of badness. That was an epic quote. Let me see if there's anything gritty here. FDA has no obligation to convene outside panels for its decisions, stresses NEMDAC member David Hardy and HIV/AIDS scientist of the University of California, Los Angeles. Yet the agency often does so for tricky drug approvals, and Hardy is amazed the agency didn't consult the panel in this case. Basically, in a nutshell, they did not follow the set standard for C19. Period. Like, I'm skipping over here. The FDA did not respond. Why would they? They're not accountable to anybody. You got the dollar, you don't have to answer questions. Disappointing trial, so it was a massive failure, and it proved that it had no work, or that it didn't have any impact for mortality or for reducing the time of the illness. But they gave it to people anyway, and some people had amazingly adverse effects. It's appalling to see how Gilead tries to badmouth the Solidarity trial, pretending the trial has no value because it is in low-income countries. It is just prejudice. Wow. So yeah, I'm scaling through the argument that the earlier you use it, the better is. See, I love that pretense. Go ahead, hurry up and take it. We're paid. Hurry up and take it before the data comes out that it was all for nothing and we're putting you at risk. I do want to see somebody, people, more than one person, people held accountable for the massive amount of damage done. I know this is such an old dead horse, but it had such an impact, a lasting impact that remains to this day. I went to my first family reunion in 2 years because of everything that took place, while our leaders went to the beach and had their indoor celebrations, and we all lost jobs and businesses and our sanity, and unaliving rates skyrocketed. So just bear that in mind, and always demand, I would hope, that it's just kind of part of the course. Alright, the standard should be demanding accountability. We start there, and then move forward. Because before we get through that little wall, we are stuck between a rock and a hard place, while the powers that be laugh all the way to the bank, and we continue to get screwed time and time again. Oh, and by the way, what was that little notation I made? The Federal Reserve, has what was it? They hiked. What was it? Shit, I'm sorry. Raised the interest. Now I can't articulate what all of this means, but apparently it's the lowest hike in a very long time. But it is to stave off the inevitable recession. And every time I hear about the recession, I keep hearing the term. It's coming. It's happening. So be prepared. I know I'm putting a lot of money to the side personally. And the whole story, like immediately after they're talking about the recession and how the Fed has raised the interest or something or another. I'm sorry that I didn't do more thorough research. I just took a note. I did a community post. Aside from that, yeah, the story was, is the IRS racist? Well, we have proven that the IRS agents, the auditors, can't be because they don't know who they're assigned. So it's the algorithms, the computers and the systems that assign people to the auditors and the IRS agents. Those actually target African American families. So the algorithm is racist. And I'm just thinking to myself, okay, so they're talking about the Federal Reserve doing something with our money or our non-existent value, and then a giant pivot to division. And I just can't help but laugh. I think it's another. I have no crying left in me. I just look at things as they are, and I laugh. And I await with whatever optimism I can summon, because things have become so just dystopian that I'm truly convinced we're living in some form of a nightmare that this too shall pass. I hope this comes to fruition. We get better representation. Our constituency starts to care more. I know I'm getting heavy-handed with my political jargon and punditry, but these are issues that they're always going to matter. All of it matters. It starts local, and then from there, we gotta get rid of the lobbyists, the pay-to-play politics, the electoral college, gerrymandering, all of it. So, okay, hopefully this audio is good enough to play. All of y'all, you know my creed, which is let a divider be an invitation to conversation, not confrontation, so we can one day, once again, perhaps, speak truth to power. Or somehow figure out how to be feared by those that claim to represent us. Good night.